Welcome back, deep divers. Ready for another fascinating journey?
You bet.
Today, we're diving into the world of shamanism.
Well, cool.
We've got some seriously mind-bending concepts to unpack from a message written by John. He's a practicing shaman,
Okay.
and he's laid out a path toward personal power and freedom. And we're going to break it down piece by piece.
Awesome.
So the first thing that jumped out at me is that it's a 3-step journey.
Yeah.
And the third step is what's really caught my eye.
Yeah.
John warns that it might actually be the trickiest one,
It is.
even though it seems deceptively simple.
Yeah, it's a real head scratcher. The first 2 steps, you're basically focused on letting go.
Right. They let go of what?
All the baggage, personal baggage, ancestral wounds, all that stuff that weighs us down.
Okay.
John describes it as like a death and rebirth experience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You emerge feeling lighter, freer, like a whole new you.
So I can see why someone might think, okay, I'm good. The hard part is over.
Right.
But it sounds like that's not the case, is it?
Well, no, you're not off the hook just yet. That sense of liberation, that feeling of lightness, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But it can also kind of set the stage for a whole new set of challenges.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the north work comes in.
The North work.
The north work, yeah.
What's that?
Well, think of it as like confronting the mad mind.
Okay.
That part of us that clings to ego, to dogma, projections, all those things that keep us feeling separate and insecure.
I see.
All those stories we tell ourselves.
Okay, yeah.
It's deep stuff.
Yeah, so I'm starting to see where the difficulty lies. Like letting go of old wounds.
Yeah.
That's one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then dismantling those deeply ingrained patterns of thinking.
Uh-huh.
That sounds like a whole other level.
Absolutely. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Okay.
And this is where John's analogy of becoming invisible really comes in.
Invisible.
Invisible.
Right.
He describes it as being completely seen,
Wait, what?
like glass or water.
Invisible by being seen. How does that work?
Okay, so picture this. You're so transparent that nothing can stick to you.
Okay.
Judgments, attacks, projections, all that stuff. It just passes right through.
Yeah.
Because there's no solid you for them to latch onto.
Oh, interesting.
It's pretty wild, right?
So you're basically creating like an energetic shield that deflects negativity.
Exactly. You're no longer giving it anything to feed on.
That's powerful.
It is.
And what are the implications of this? How does this change your approach, like when dealing with difficult people
Ooh, that's a great question.
or situations?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Instead of getting all defensive or like trying to argue your point, you could just let their words flow through you
Wow.
without taking them personally.
But doesn't that require like an insane amount of detachment?
It does. And that's why this third step, it's so tricky.
Yeah.
It goes against every fiber of our being, that natural instinct to defend ourselves, to be right, to hold on to our beliefs as if they're, the only truth.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like that whole you can be right or you can be happy kind of thing.
Exactly. And John really drives this point home with a great example.
Okay, what's the example?
The vegan teacher.
The vegan teacher.
The vegan teacher.
Who is that?
So imagine this, right? You've got a teacher who's completely devoted to veganism.
Okay.
Their entire identity wrapped up in it.
Okay, yeah.
Now, what happens if their students see them, like, scarfing down a burger? Awkward.
Yeah, it'd be a little hypocritical. Undermine their credibility.
Totally. And it might even cause some followers to question veganism altogether.
True, yeah.
Like, wait a minute, if the teacher isn't really walking the walk, then maybe this whole thing's a sham.
Right.
So both the teacher and the student, they kind of get trapped by the rigidity of the belief system.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But now imagine a different approach. Okay, so the teacher shares their passion for veganism, acknowledging that it works for them. But, and this is key, they encourage others to make their own choices, judgment-free.
Ah, I get it. It's like, hey, this works for me, but you do you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That detached approach, it avoids that whole trap of self-righteousness, and it actually creates space for more open dialogue and understanding.
So it's not about abandoning your values.
No, not at all.
But it's about presenting them in a way that invites connection.
Right.
Rather than creating division.
You nailed it. And that's a powerful takeaway for all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, so let's say, I don't know, I'm super passionate about, saving the whales.
Okay.
Right? How can I, advocate for that cause
Hmm.
effectively, but without falling into that, like, preachy, self-righteous trap.
That's the million-dollar question, and it really gets to the heart of this whole North work. Finding that balance between conviction and openness, being able to stand in your truth, but without, shoving it down other people's throats.
But there's another thing, right? If I'm supposed to be this detached, invisible being,
Yeah.
what motivates me to actually do anything?
Whoa, that's a good one. You're hitting on a really important point. And John, he actually addresses this directly. He says, once you're free from the need to do anything,
Right.
you can actually choose to play any role that feels good. And that leads to, like, effortless creation and manifestation.
Oh.
It's wild.
It's like you're reducing the mind's importance.
Right.
And it actually empowers your deeper desires.
It's a beautiful paradox, right? By letting go of that constant striving, that grasping,
Yeah.
you actually tap into this wellspring of creativity and energy. It's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like this whole detachment thing also has a big impact on how we experience time, right?
Oh, absolutely. Time becomes something completely different.
Yeah.
John talks about how the trapped mind,
Yeah.
it's always consumed by urgency, always needing to get things done right now, right now,
Yeah.
right now.
Like, go, 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 hurry, hurry, hurry.
Exactly. But a surrendered mind, it experiences this sense of timelessness, leading to greater efficiency and ease. Like, okay, it'll all get done in its own time.
Oh, I can relate to feeling trapped by time.
Oh, yeah.
All those deadlines,
Yeah.
to-do lists, like the constant pressure to be productive, it's exhausting.
It is. It's like a hamster wheel, right? Always running, but never getting anywhere.
Yeah.
John actually shares some wisdom from his Quero teachers.
Oh, cool.
They say, why do today that which will take care of itself in 3 or 4 days?
Oh, my goodness. That's a serious chill perspective.
It is, right.
Like, but how do you actually, like, put that into practice?
It's tough, right?
Like, I have bills to pay, deadlines to meet. I can't just sit around and wait for things to magically work out.
Right. It's not about being passive.
Okay.
It's about shifting your mindset from forcing and striving to allowing and receiving. And that brings us to another key aspect of the North work, cutting threads of commitment.
Wait, cutting threads? Okay, now this is starting to sound like we're in a fantasy movie or something.
Oh, right.
What is that?
So John's actually drawing a parallel here to a shamanic practice.
Okay.
It's called cutting ancestral threads.
Oh, okay.
And those are like those energetic connections to past traumas
Right.
and patterns that can unconsciously influence our lives.
Now that you mention it, I think I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
Like, how does this apply to the North work, though?
Good question. So it's not about like literally cutting ties with your ancestors.
Okay.
It's more about recognizing and releasing those limiting beliefs
Okay.
and commitments that we've internalized,
Good.
even if they're not serving us anymore.
Okay, yeah. I see what you mean.
It's like untangling ourselves from a web of outdated programming.
So it's like breaking free from those internal shoulds and musts, like, that have been dictating our choices for so long.
Bingo. You're getting it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And John actually shares a really interesting story about a client.
Okay.
He helped them sever ties to a limiting philosophy that had been creating internal conflict for, get this, lifetimes. Lifetimes.
That's a lot of baggage.
It is. It's heavy stuff.
What kind of philosophy?
He doesn't really go into the specifics of the philosophy,
Okay.
but it's more about, like, the way it had become a source of self-judgment
Okay.
and limitation for this client.
Okay.
He describes it as being like a self-inflicted curse,
Oh, wow.
like a belief system that had turned into a prison.
And I bet a lot of us can relate to that feeling.
Oh, absolutely. Like, we've all got that inner critic, right?
Yeah.
That voice that's always telling us we're not good enough
Yeah.
or that we're not doing enough.
That we're messing up.
It's brutal. And what John really highlights here is how we often become our own judge and persecutor, inflicting self-punishment and, worthiness issues based on these internalized beliefs. It's like we take on the role of both the accuser and the accused, creating this cycle of suffering that can be so hard to break free from.
So how do we escape this?
That's the big question.
That's
Here.
self-imposed prison.
Yeah. Is it just a matter of positive thinking? Like replacing those negative thoughts with affirmations?
Yeah.
It's a little more nuanced than that, I think. It's about
Yeah.
recognizing and dismantling the underlying belief systems
Okay.
that are fueling those negative thoughts and judgments.
Okay.
It's about discerning, like, what's truly serving us
Right.
and what we can let go of
Yeah,
without beating ourselves up about it.
I see. So this north work is, like, really challenging.
It is.
It's not just about letting go of external baggage. It's also about those internal patterns of self-sabotage.
100%.
And that leads us to what?
Well, that leads us to one of the core challenges of the North work, the trap of judgment.
Judgment.
Yeah, particularly judging the choices of others.
Oh, okay. I can see how that ties in.
Yeah.
Because when we're so caught up in judging other people,
Right.
we're essentially just projecting our own stuff onto them.
Exactly. It's like looking in a mirror, but not realizing it.
Yeah. Our own insecurities,
Yeah.
unresolved issues.
Well, that stuff, yeah.
And it's so easy to see how this connects back to, like, our own experiences of feeling like a victim, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because when we judge someone's choices,
Mm-hmm.
we're giving them power over us, over our emotions.
Yeah.
Like, look what you made me feel, you know?
Exactly. But here's the amazing thing about successfully navigating this North work.
Yeah.
It frees you from that victim mentality.
Oh,
Because when you let go of judgment,
okay.
you can accept other people's choices
Yeah.
without feeling personally attacked or diminished.
So it's not about condoning everything, but just recognizing that their choices are their own
Right.
and don't define my experience.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. And remember that whole analogy of becoming invisible. When you lack a rigid identity to defend attacks, projections, they just lose their power. You become like water flowing around obstacles rather than trying to fight them head on.
This is really making me rethink how I react to things.
Yeah.
Like, when someone cuts me off in traffic,
Mm-hmm.
I get so worked up.
Yeah.
But if I could just let it go, like not take it personally, that would save me so much stress.
It would. And that's just one tiny example.
Right.
Imagine applying that principle to every area of your life.
Yeah.
The freedom and peace of mind that come with that level of detachment. It's incredible.
Okay. But I have to ask,
Mhm.
if I'm not attached to outcomes, does that mean I become, like, passive? Like just floating through life without any goals or ambitions?
Great question.
Yeah.
And John is very clear that detachment does not equal passivity.
No.
In fact, he argues that it actually fosters greater presence, relaxation, and playfulness. You're fully engaged in the moment, free to respond authentically,
Mm-hmm.
without the burden of expectations or the fear of failure.
So it's like finding that sweet spot between action and surrender.
Exactly.
Right. Like being fully committed to the experience,
Uh-huh.
but not needing to control it.
You nailed it. It's about embracing the mystery
Yeah.
and magic of life
Okay.
without needing to know all the answers
Yeah.
or predict every outcome.
This is blowing my mind.
It is wild, isn't it?
Like, I've always been so focused on trying to get somewhere, achieve something,
Mm-hmm.
that I've missed the beauty of, like, the journey itself.
It's so easy to do that, right? We get so caught up in the doing that we forget to simply be.
Yeah.
But when we can release that need for control,
Okay.
a whole new level of awareness and joy becomes available to us. Like, there you are.
So how do I even begin to shift my perspective like that? Like, are there specific practices
Yeah.
that John recommends for cultivating detachment?
Well, he doesn't give like a step-by-step guide.
Okay.
He does emphasize the importance of mindfulness,
Okay.
self-awareness,
Yeah.
and a willingness to, question our deeply held beliefs and assumptions.
Yeah.
He also mentions a concept that really intrigued me.
Okay, what's that?
The ability to, and this is going to sound weird,
Yeah.
keep a secret, even from yourself.
A secret from myself.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, now that sounds really cryptic.
It is.
What does that even mean?
I had the same reaction at first,
Okay.
but the more I thought about it,
Yeah.
the more I started to see it as a way of maintaining this sense of mystery
Okay.
and playfulness in life,
Okay.
even within our own minds.
Oh.
It's like we're fully immersed in the drama of existence
Yeah.
without taking ourselves too seriously
Oh,
or getting trapped by the need to, analyze everything.
I love that.
Right.
Instead of dissecting every experience, trying to figure it all out,
Yeah.
we can just allow ourselves to be surprised
Mm-hmm.
and delighted by the unfolding of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it really ties into that idea of accessing childlike energy. Oh, okay.
That John associates with the East,
East.
the final stage.
Oh, the East work.
Yes.
He's mentioned that a couple of times.
He has. It's like the grand finale of this whole transformational journey.
I'm dying to know more about that.
You can-
What happens in the final stage?
Well, he describes it as the realm of, like, childlike power.
Okay.
And freedom of creating.
Ooh.
It's where the mind fully surrenders to the unknown,
Okay.
embracing the mystery and magic of existence.
That sounds amazing.
It does.
But also kind of scary.
I know. It's like, whoa, what if I let go and it turns out to be, like, bad?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, what if I surrender to the unknown?
Right.
And it's not what I was hoping for.
Totally.
It's scary.
Fear is natural. It's part of the process.
Okay.
But John emphasizes that the East work isn't about, like, blindly leaping into the void.
Okay.
It's about cultivating trust. Trust in ourselves, trust in the universe.
Yeah.
Knowing that even if we stumble,
We'll always be guided back to our true path.
okay, that's reassuring. But what does this childlike power and freedom of creating actually look like?
Good question. He hints at some pretty incredible shamanic practices
Okay.
that become available at this stage.
Oh, cool.
Like destiny retrieval.
Destiny retrieval.
Destiny retrieval.
What is that?
Okay, so imagine uncovering a hidden blueprint for your life.
Oh, wow.
That's what destiny retrieval is all about.
Okay.
Reclaiming your soul's true purpose.
Okay.
Stepping into your full potential.
Wow, that's powerful. And he also mentions divination. What's that like? Fortune telling.
It can be, but it's more about tapping into your intuition.
Okay.
And receiving guidance from the universe.
Right.
Learning to trust your inner compass.
Yeah.
And make decisions that align with your highest good.
This is starting to sound like a whole new level of self-discovery.
It is.
Oh, hold on. If we're already doing the North work, right, shedding layers of conditioning, isn't our destiny already, like, unfolding naturally?
It is. But sometimes we need a little nudge.
Okay.
A reminder of who we truly are.
Yeah.
And what we're capable of.
Okay.
And that's where practices like destiny retrieval and divination can be super helpful.
This is so fascinating.
It is.
We start by letting go of all the things that are holding us back.
Right.
And then we step into this whole new realm of possibilities.
Yes.
Guided by our intuition, connected to something much bigger than ourselves.
You got it. And what's really powerful here is that John frames this entire journey as a process of reclaiming our true nature.
Okay.
It's not about becoming someone better.
Yeah.
It's about shedding the layers of conditioning that have kept us from accessing our inherent power and wisdom.
That resonates with me. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing the radiant essence that's always been there.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this deep dive so valuable. It's not just about understanding John's perspective, but about prompting us to reflect on our own journeys of self-discovery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's an invitation to examine our own beliefs, attachments, judgments,
Yes.
and to, explore the possibilities that open up when we dare to let go.
When we dare to surrender to the mystery.
Speaking of letting go, John actually ends his message by reiterating that he enjoys playing the role of the shaman.
Oh, interesting.
For those who are asking.
Okay.
It's a beautiful way of embodying this detached engagement, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like he's offering his wisdom and guidance, but without being attached to whether or not people accept it.
That's a great point. It reminds me of what we were talking about earlier with the vegan teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
it's not about forcing your perspective on others.
Right.
It's about simply sharing your experience and allowing them to make their own choices.
Yeah.
And it all circles back to that core principle of the North work. Okay.
Freedom through surrender.
Okay.
By letting go of our need to control.
Yeah.
To be right, to have all the answers.
Yeah.
We open ourselves up to a world of possibilities that we couldn't have even imagined.
It's like that saying, the tighter you hold on to sand, the more it slips through your fingers.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you open your hand, it can actually rest there.
What a perfect analogy. It really captures the essence of this whole journey, doesn't it?
It does. So to all our deep divers out there, get ready. Because we're about to take this exploration to a whole new level. We're going to dive deep into the North work and uncover the secrets to true freedom and ease.
Buckle up.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild
I
ride.
can't wait. It's like we're so busy pointing fingers that we don't realize we're standing in our own way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So where does this all lead us?
Well, John, he really emphasizes how this whole judgment thing is apparently, judging other people's actions.
It often leads to unnecessary battles and emotional wounds. We get so caught up in our own righteousness that we completely miss the bigger picture. And honestly, nobody wins.
Yes, like picking our battles, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes it's better to just let things go, which is easier said than done.
totally. But think about it, like when we judge someone else's choices,
Yeah.
we're essentially giving them power over us, over our emotional state. It's that classic, you made me feel this way kind of
Wow.
thing.
Oh, yeah, the blame game.
Exactly. And that's the trap, right? We become the victim.
Yeah, I hate that feeling.
It's not a fun place to be. But here's the cool thing, the really beautiful thing about successfully navigating this north work.
Yeah.
It frees you from that victim mentality because when you're able to let go of judgment, you can start to accept other people's choices
Right.
without feeling personally attacked or diminished.
It's like you're giving yourself permission to not be affected by everything everyone else does.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not about saying everything's okay or I condone all behavior. It's more about recognizing that their choices, they belong to them and they don't have to define my experience.
That's pretty liberating, actually.
It is. It's a huge shift in perspective.
And it goes back to that whole idea of becoming invisible, right?
Oh, yeah. When you don't have this rigid identity that you need to defend attacks and projections, they just kind of bounce off you. They lose their power.
Because there's nothing to hit.
Exactly. It's like you become water, just flowing around obstacles rather than trying to smash into them.
I love that analogy.
Me too. It's so powerful. So much of our suffering comes from that resistance, that need to control everything.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, this is making me think about, I don't know, like the little things. Even.
Yeah.
Like, when I get cut off in traffic, oh man, I get so frustrated, like road rage.
Oh, I feel that.
But if I could just let it go, not take it so personally, that would save me so much mental energy.
It would. And think about it. That's just one tiny example.
Yeah.
Imagine applying that principle to all areas of your life.
Work, relationships.
Well, everything.
Oh, man, that's...
The freedom and peace of mind that come with that level of detachment, it's mind-blowing.
Okay, but I got to ask, if I'm not attached to outcomes, does that mean I just become passive?
That's a great question. And it's one that a lot of people struggle with.
Right.
Like, if I don't care about the outcome, do I even try?
Yeah.
Do I just, I don't know, float through life without any goals, without ambition?
Exactly, yeah. What's the point of anything?
Well, John is very clear about this. Detachment does not equal passivity.
Okay.
In fact, he argues that it actually fosters greater presence, relaxation, and playfulness because you're fully engaged in the moment.
Okay.
You're free to respond authentically without that heavy burden of expectations or the fear of failing.
So it's not about not caring. It's about caring in a different way.
Yes. It's about finding that sweet spot between action and surrender, being fully committed to the experience, but not needing to control it. Embracing the mystery, the magic of not knowing what's going to happen.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. It's like instead of being so focused on the destination, I can actually enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And that's where the real joy is, isn't it? In the journey, the unfolding, not just the end goal.
Okay, so how do I even begin to shift my perspective in such a profound way? Are there specific practices that John recommends for cultivating this detachment?
That's a good question. He doesn't really offer a step-by-step guide, but he does emphasize the importance of mindfulness, self-awareness, and a willingness to, question our deeply held beliefs and assumptions. Like, are these really my beliefs, or are they just things I've inherited from my family, my culture, society? Are they actually serving me, or are they holding me back?
So it's like doing some inner inventory and seeing what sparks joy and what just feels like dead weight.
Exactly. And then having the courage to let go of the things that aren't serving you, even if it's scary, even if it feels like you're letting go of a part of yourself. Because on the other side of that fear, there's freedom. There's space for something new to emerge.
Man, this is powerful stuff. But okay, there's one more thing that John mentions that I'm really curious about. He talks about the ability to keep a secret, even from yourself.
Oh, yeah. I love this one.
I know, it's so cryptic. What on earth does that even mean?
Right. When I first read that, I was like, what? But the more I thought about it, the more it started to make sense. And I think it ties into that idea of mystery and playfulness that we were just talking about. Like, it's about maintaining a sense of wonder, even within our own minds. Not needing to know everything, not needing to analyze every experience to death, just allowing ourselves to be surprised, to be delighted by the unfolding of life.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, I like that. It's like instead of dissecting everything, you can just let it be and trust that the answers will reveal themselves in their own time.
Exactly. And that ties into the next stage of this journey, the East work, which is all about accessing that childlike energy of creation, that sense of pure, unadulterated wonder and possibility. It's like, what could we create if we weren't so bogged down by our need to control everything? If we could just let go and play?
Okay, yeah. The East work, he's mentioned that a few times, and I'm so curious to dive into that. What exactly happens in this final stage?
Well, he describes it as the realm of childlike power and freedom of creating. It's where the mind fully surrenders to the unknown, embracing the mystery and magic of existence. And it's where some pretty incredible shamanic practices become available.
Oh, cool. Like what?
He mentions destiny retrieval and divination.
Whoa, destiny retrieval. What's that? Like recovering a lost part of yourself.
It's kind of like that. Imagine uncovering a hidden blueprint for your life. That's what destiny retrieval is all about. Reclaiming your soul's true purpose, stepping into your full potential.
Wow, that's powerful. And what about divination? Is that like fortune telling?
It can be, but it's more about tapping into your intuition and receiving guidance from the universe. Learning to trust your inner compass and make decisions that align with your highest good.
This is starting to sound like a whole new level of self-discovery. But okay, if we're already doing the North work, shedding layers of conditioning, isn't our destiny already like unfolding naturally?
It is. But sometimes we need a little nudge, a reminder of who we truly are and what we're capable of. And that's where practices like destiny retrieval and divination can be really helpful. They can help us to see the bigger picture, to connect with our intuition, and to make choices that are in alignment with our soul's true purpose.
This is so fascinating. It's like we start by letting go of all the things that are holding us back, and then we step into this whole new realm of possibilities, guided by our intuition and connected to something much bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. And what's really powerful is that John frames this entire journey as a process of reclaiming our true nature. It's not about becoming someone better. It's about shedding the layers of conditioning that have kept us from accessing our inherent power and wisdom, that radiant essence that's always been there, just waiting to be uncovered.
That resonates so deeply with me. It's like we're peeling back the layers of the onion, revealing the true self that's been hidden beneath all the masks and defenses.
Yes. And I think that's what makes this deep dive so valuable. It's not just about understanding John's perspective, but about prompting us to reflect on our own journeys of self-discovery, to ask ourselves, what am I holding on to that's no longer serving me? Where in my life could I benefit from a little more detachment, a little more playfulness? And what possibilities might open up if I dare to let go?
Absolutely. It's an invitation to examine our own beliefs, attachments, and judgments, and to explore the incredible potential that lies within each and every one of us. And speaking of letting go, John actually ends his message by reiterating that he enjoys playing the role of the shaman, for those who are asking. And it's such a beautiful way of embodying this detached engagement, isn't it? Like he's offering his wisdom and guidance, but he's not attached to whether or not people accept it. He's simply sharing his experience and allowing others to make their own choices.
That's a great point, and it reminds me of what we were talking about earlier with the vegan teacher. It's not about forcing our perspective on others, it's about simply sharing our experience and allowing them to make their own choices. And it all circles back to that core principle of the North work, freedom through surrender. By letting go of our need to control, to be right, to have all the answers, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities that we couldn't have even imagined. It's like that saying, the tighter you hold on to sand, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you open your hand, it can actually rest there.
What a perfect analogy. It really captures the essence of this whole journey, doesn't it? Letting go, surrendering, and allowing ourselves to be surprised by the magic that unfolds. And that, my friends, is what we're going to be exploring in more depth next time as we continue our deep dive into the world of shamanism and the transformative power of the East work. It really does. And, it brings us back to that question that John left his readers with.
Oh, yeah.
What sacred cows are you holding on to? The ones that are keeping you from experiencing true freedom and ease.
That's such a powerful question, isn't it? It really invites us to take a good, hard look at our lives and identify those beliefs, those habits, maybe even relationships that we're clinging to, maybe out of fear or obligation, or just because we've never really stopped to question them.
It's funny, when you first asked that question, my mind went straight to those big, obvious things.
Yeah.
Like, am I holding on to a career that's no longer fulfilling? Or a relationship that's run its course? But as we've been talking, I'm realizing that it goes so much deeper than that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's also about those subtle, everyday beliefs,
Yeah.
the ones that we don't even realize are shaping our reality.
It could be something as simple as, like, the belief that you're not good enough
Oh, yeah.
or that you have to please everyone all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
These seemingly small beliefs, they can have such a huge impact on how we show up in the world.
And the choices that we make.
Exactly.
It's like we're carrying around all these invisible rules
Mhm.
and expectations that we've internalized over the years, and we don't even question them.
Right.
We just assume that they're true.
And that's the beauty of John's question. It challenges us to step back,
Yeah.
examine those sacred cows with fresh eyes.
To ask ourselves, is this belief really true?
Right.
Or is it just something that I've been told or that I've come to believe based on my past experiences?
And maybe, just maybe, if we dare to let go of some of those sacred cows, we'll discover a whole new level of freedom and possibility that we never even knew existed. It's like stepping out of a cage that we didn't even realize we were in.
Wow, yeah. This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of John's philosophy.
Oh, totally.
I'm already, eager to explore the East work and the power of childlike creation.
It's so inspiring, right? To think about tapping into that pure, unadulterated, creative energy. Like, what could we accomplish if we weren't weighed down by all those limiting beliefs and fears? The possibilities are truly endless. And I think that's the ultimate message of John's work, to remind us that we are powerful creators, capable of manifesting our deepest desires. But first, we have to clear away the clutter, let go of what's no longer serving us, and embrace the unknown with a sense of childlike wonder and curiosity.
So for all you deep divers out there, we encourage you to spend some time reflecting on what resonated with you today.
Yeah, what judgments are you holding on to?
Where in your life could you benefit from a little more detachment?
A little more playfulness.
And most importantly, what sacred cows might be standing in the way of your own journey toward freedom and ease? We hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights and tools to help you on your path. Remember, the journey is yours to create.
So go out there and explore
And discover
the
that
magic that awaits you.
Until next time, happy exploring.